Okay, let's start. So, hi, my name is Grzegorz Bartman, and today I will tell you about Drupal recipes. But before that, I have one slide related to DrupalCamp in Berlin. I was here in 2011. Is anyone here in this room who also will be in this conference? No. Okay, so it was my first Drupal event, Drupal in-person event. I have been working with Drupal since 2008. I've been involved in community in Drupal in Poland, but it was only online. And here I had the opportunity for the first time to meet in person with other Drupalers. And after this event, I wrote a blog post about this event, what I have learned, and but also I added a question at the end of the blog post. Perhaps we should organize something similar in Poland. And I started talking with some companies and freelancers in Wrocław. And a few months later, we organized our first Drupal event in Poland in April 2012. So for me personally, DrupalCamp in Berlin, it was some kind of starting point for DrupalCamp events in Poland. And since 2012, we are organizing it every year. Next edition will be in June 2025. So if you need a good reason to visit Poland, to visit Warsaw, you have it now. So you can buy a ticket. Right now, I think we have around 20 very cheap tickets, so you can reserve them right now or soon if you want. Okay, let's back to my presentation. Today I will tell you about the history of the whole concept of Drupal recipes, what exactly is a Drupal recipe, who it is for, how you can use community recipes, how you can create your own recipe. And at the end I will show some information about the future plans and links to examples and documentation. And after that there will be time for questions and discussion. Shortly about me, I started with PHP in 2012. I have been working with Drupal since 2008, and since 2013 I'm co-founder of Droptica. We are a web development company where we do website and web apps mostly with Drupal, but also on Mautic, Celius, and Symfony. But let's get back to recipes. It actually started 2 years ago in 2022. DrupalCamp Portland, Dries announced a new direction for Drupal. He presented a phrase, Drupal is for ambitious site builders. And during this conference, he also presented 3 new initiatives, automatic updates, project browser, and Drupal starter templates. And this last one was later changed to recipes. 2 years later, also in Portland, Dries introduced Starshot. So this is a Drupal core with contrib modules with some configuration, and all this is configured using Drupal recipes. Also with Drupal 10.3, now standard installation profile is also built with Drupal recipes. So right now recipes are a very important part of Drupal ecosystem. So it is very important to know how you can use them and how you can create your own recipes. Short definition, Drupal recipe automates module installation and module configuration. But what exactly it means for me, for you? A few examples. You can save your knowledge, your best practice in text files, and these text files, Drupal can understand these text files versus situation like, for example, you have a checklist in your Confluence or something similar, how to set up a good SEO configuration for Drupal, a good security configuration for Drupal. Now you can have it in files that Drupal can understand and import in seconds. You can save your time and eliminate a lot of errors related to manual configuration. For example, you want to launch a new website and you forgot to disable user registration or something similar. Now you can create this as a recipe, and every time you are doing the similar thing, you can use a recipe instead of doing it manually. So you can save a lot of time and eliminate errors. your team, your community can iterate and improve, because, for example, if you have a SEO recipe or security recipe or some, I know, event management, event content type security, if you event content type recipe, if you are working on similar websites, you can always, when you use the same recipe many times, you can improve it, and you don't have to figure out, for example, for the 100th time from how to set up a good SEO configuration for your website. You can take your recipe and use what you have and improve it. And last one, but I think very important, you can show, for example, to your clients, to other people in your organization, what exactly you can build with Drupal versus situation that you can tell to someone, I can build everything in Drupal. I know I've personally used this phrase many times in past, but now I understand that for clients, for some editors, sometimes it's hard to understand what actually you can build with Drupal. With recipes, you can have a recipe, for example, for blog posts, for events, something similar, and you can show to your client, to editor, to other person in seconds what actually you want to deliver to this person. So the cooperation between developer, site builder, and end user is much better with recipes. So to summarize, you can save your knowledge in format that Drupal can understand and import in seconds. You can save your time, you can eliminate a lot of errors, you can iterate and improve, and you can show to client, to other person, what exactly you can build with Drupal in seconds. So this is very strong list of very good reasons why you should know how to use recipes and how to create your own recipes. Who it is for? Mostly for organizations that creates multiple websites on Drupal, like agencies, software development companies, for organizations that maintain multiple similar websites, like universities. Let's imagine that university has 100 websites and they now have a new password policy. If they want to implement it manually on each website, it will be time consuming, and there could be some errors, some difference. If you have a recipe, you can implement the new configuration on multiple websites very fast. And for organizations that are working on Drupal distributions, in Droptica we have Drupal distribution. I don't know if you heard about it, but this is distribution for company website, mostly for production website, and now we are rebuilding it on recipes. Okay, but what are general assumptions for recipes? First, most important, they are applied, not installed. If you have Drupal modules, you have to get this module to your code base, to your composer JSON, install it, and this module stays with your website for the whole life cycle of your website. With recipe, actually, when you have your copy of your website locally, you can download the recipe, apply this recipe. This recipe will install some modules, do some configuration, and then you can remove it. You don't need this recipe you don't have to keep this recipe in your code base. Recipes can include other recipes, so you can build something like tree structure. You can build, for example, I know 5 small recipes and build one big recipe that includes other one. I will show you one example later how you can use it. They can be applied at any stage of the project life cycle. So you can apply some recipes. For example, if you are building a new website right now, you can apply a recipe to your website, or you can get some website that you built 5 years ago and you upgraded it to Drupal 10, and you can still apply recipes to this website. They do not block sites developments versus situation like we have in distribution, because when you use distribution for building a website, you actually have to stay with this distribution for the whole life cycle. It is very hard to move from distribution to clean Drupal core. It is possible, but it's usually very, very complicated. We don't have this problem with recipes, and they are easy to share because they are just text files, so we can create a repository and share them like modules or themes. Okay, how you can use community recipes? I have two examples for you. One is the watchdog recipe. It is on our GitHub. All links, I will share my slides later on my LinkedIn and Twitter account, so all links you can get later from PDF file. Okay, how you can use community recipes? You have to do two steps. Get a recipe, you can use Composer for this, and install a recipe. You can use Drush. In the newest Drush version, there is a recipe command, or you can use PHP script that is in Drupal core. In this case, command will be a little bit longer, so with Drush it is more convenient. So if you run these commands, you will see something like this is in this terminal on the screen. So at first there will be a progress bar, and then status if everything is okay or not. If not, you will get some information what is wrong. For example, you don't have some modules or something like this. And in this case, this recipe adds extra new tabs, new views in database logging section. So by default, you have some view with last logs in your Drupal. In this recipe, you have Watchdog Advanced tab. In this tab, you have the similar view, but with more filters. If you have a website where we use it for, in many cases, when we build news portal and we have 20 or more editors and we have to find who broke something. So with this, this view is very helpful. And two tabs with summary, so summary by type and by severity. So in general, if you run these two commands in a few seconds, you will have nice improvements for your database logging section in your Drupal. Next example, security recipe. This one is built based on the, as I remember, 6 or 7 small recipes. So when you look in the code to this recipe, it only contains reference requirements to other recipes. So if you run these two commands, it will install 6 or 7 extra modules, add some custom configuration, and your website will be more secure. It will add password policy. It will set not only install a password policy module, but also add a password policy for strong password and add some email notifications and some other tools. So as you can see, in a few seconds, you can add some extra things to your Drupal. Yeah, but there is no user interface for recipe installation right now. I will back to this topic at the end of the presentation. For now, you have to use your terminal to get the recipe and apply a recipe. How you can create your own recipe? As I mentioned, you need a text files. You use tools that you already know if you have any experience with creating modules for Drupal, so YAM file and Composer JSON file. There is no PHP code in recipe. Later I will tell you how you can add some PHP code to your recipe, but directly in recipe you can't add PHP code. To create very simple recipe, what you need is only one file. So you have to create a folder, add recipe YAM file, and this is enough to create very simple recipe. But recipe can be more complex. You can add composer file, you can add configuration folder, and in this folder you can add YAM file that all these files will be imported during recipe installation. And you can create content also, not only content types, but also content. And for example, you can create event content type and create 10 events. And in this, in this way, if you want to show someone what you can build with Drupal, you will have a content type and 10 content examples, and it will be much better to show someone what exactly you want to deliver to this person. Recipe YAML file, you have to add name and description, so in similar form like in Drupal modules. Then you can add type. Type is not used right now. It will be used when you have a UA on Drupal.org and on the project browser module. But the concept is like we will have 3 types, so foundational, kit, and site, and this last one will be something like, I know, distribution, but something like starshot, starting point. So it should be visible on Drupal installation when you have the clean Drupal, and you will add a recipe with type site. It will be listed with other profiles, but this is still in progress. So for now, you actually can forget about the type parameter. Recipes section, so this is the place where you can add other recipes that should be installed, applied with your recipe. Install section, here you can list what modules you want to install with this recipe, but not only modules, you can also list here themes. For example, you can add a Gene theme and you can set it as a default admin theme. And the next one is configuration section. This section has 2 subsections. First one is import. In import section, you're providing a list of config files from optional config files from modules that you want to install, or you can install all of configuration that is in some module, like in the last line on the screen. And actions. With actions, you can do a lot of things. Some examples on the screens. For example, you can change the front page of the website, or you can disable a view. So you can, for example, disable a view with your recipe, some kind of view that is in Drupal core, and you can replace it with your own view. Full list is on this page. I will share slides later, so you can check the whole list of possible config actions. And composer JSON, you can add, you don't have to, but you can add composer JSON to your recipe. It is mostly used if you want to install some, for example, contrib modules. You should add composer JSON, then recipe will download this contrib modules or other recipes. So if you want to create your own recipe, I recommend that you will review existing recipes. So right now you have it in Drupal core, in Drupal Starshot, and I will show the links how you can find community recipes on the GitHub or on the packages. Try to apply 2 of them, 3 of them, and check the code of this recipe. Apply the recipe, and then check in config what is new, what is changed in Drupal. Then you can understand better what this recipe changed in your Drupal configuration, and then try to create your first simple recipe. For example, simple view, and export it as a recipe, or enable a contrib module and add some custom configuration to this module. If you want to create your own recipe, you have to name it. They have a few slides about naming. This is screen from Drupal core. Regarding Drupal core, there is a nice documentation how people should name recipes in Drupal core. But for example, if you will look on Drupal Stars or Drupal CMS or one starter kit that I found on GitHub, You can see that here we have some prefixes in the names, and then the name of the recipe. And if you will look on the packages to type Drupal recipe, you will see that different authors, different companies, everyone have right now different approach for recipe naming. So right now there is no something, as I know, there is no something best practice for naming for community recipes. But in general, it's not a problem because recipe, as I mentioned, you need a recipe only for a while to apply on your website, and you can remove it. So if you will publish your recipe as a community recipe, if you rename it later, it will not affect any website that imported this recipe before. Yeah, creating recipes. For now, it is rather a manual process. If you use ACA module, in ACA module you can export configuration as a recipe. So this is only one existing automation for recipes. There is taken in feature modules. I don't know if you're familiar with feature modules. It was used in Drupal 7. This module has a nice UI with all content types, configuration, and you can check what kind of part of configuration you want to export to feature module. So I think this is a good idea, good starting point to have UI for exporting configurations as a recipe, but this ticket is still open, so it is not ready. I found something like a recipe generator on GitHub, but it didn't work for me. So for now, I recommend something like this, like you do some manual configuration on your Drupal site, then go to the development configuration, run the -sex and check what is new, what changed, and then move these changes to your recipe. So for now, you have to be ready to prepare to manual process of creation recipes. Currently, everything from recipe is applied without asking. So for example, if you get a recipe, some community recipe, and in the recipe in the config action will be changed of your default email in your website, you will not get any question. Do you really want to change the email to something, or do you really want to change something? So you have to be aware of it. So it's better to back up database before applying especially community recipes. In the roadmap, I will show it later, there is an idea to have something like reverting recipe. So you can apply recipe, check if this is something that you expected. If not, you can revert it. But for now, we don't have this option. So you have to be aware. So it's better if you want to use community recipes, it's better to check the code, what is inside. PHP code. Yeah, in recipe you can't have PHP code, but recipe can have composer JSON file, and recipe can install module. And in module you can have hook install. So in theory you can create your custom module, add some code to hook install, and this recipe will install this module and run this part of PHP code. So if you will have any blockers to do something with YAML files, you can, this is a little workaround to add some PHP code. Unpacking, yeah, I told you that you need a recipe only for a while to import, and then you can remove it. But the recipes can also have composer JSON and references to some country modules. So there is a plugin Unpack, and this plugin, for example, if you have a recipe, in this recipe you have a reference to the password policy module. This plugin will copy all things that exist in composer JSON in recipe to your main composer file from your website. And then you can remove the recipe, but all modules that are needed for this configuration will be copied from recipe to your main composer JSON. But this plugin, this recipe unpack plugin, for now it doesn't support recursive. So situation when you have recipes built like a tree. So, for example, this security recipe that we have on the GitHub, this recipe contains references to other recipes. So it is tree structure, and this module for now it will not support unpacking from sub recipes. So these references. So in this case, with DDR security, we will have to move it manually. Best practices, so it's better to create small recipes than build one big recipe. It's a good idea to back up database before importing, especially community recipes. And it's worth using existing recipes. We don't have it too many right now, but I will show you later how you can find them. Short information about plans for the future. We have now completed phase 1. There is around 10 items on this list. You can find this list in this link on the documentation portal. Two most important for me is the option to publish recipes on Drupal.org and make them visible in project browser. It is not possible right now. There are some modules on Drupal.org that actually they are built as recipes, but when you want to publish it on Drupal.org, you still have to use a module node type. And yeah, the second one that I mentioned before, so reverting recipes. So it is needed for project browser. So if we will have the recipes in project browser, you can browse all the recipes, test them, check, this is something that I wanted. If not, you should have option to revert it and back to your previous configuration. So for me, these 2 points are most important. Phase 3, so tools, UI tools, command line tools for recipe creation. We will have in phase 3. So for now, we have to still use manual creation of recipes. Links from these links, I really recommend this podcast talking episode, talking Drupal episode 470. If you want to create your own recipes, in this episode there is a lot of knowledge about creating your own recipes, and there is a Slack on Drupal Slack. There are some discussion about changes in recipes, but if you want to create your own recipe, this is also a good place to ask other people. So to summarize, with recipe, you can install modules, you can import configuration, you can change the configuration with config actions, you can create content type, you can create content, not only content types, you can add composer, you can combine multiple recipes into one bigger recipe. Recipes are now in Drupal core, in Drupal CMS, so it will be a big thing in the Drupal ecosystem. So, do you have any questions?